welcome back to Millycraft. My name is Millie. In today's episode, I'm going to be building my house IRL. I asked all of you to ask me some questions that I could respond to. Thank you so much, everybody who did that. I will be flashing names up on the screen as I go through them, so check those out. But I decided I wanted to have something kind of cool to be able to, do while I was answering all those questions. And so we're going to do a time lapse of me building my house IRL. Yep, this is my house IRL. No. Oh, it would be pretty sad if this was what it looked like. But this is basically the shape of it. I did some terraforming out and around here to make sure I had enough room for the structure, and we will get back to the village mega build. I needed to get away from villagers. I was so done with villagers and listening to them. It's quiet here. It's quiet. It's nice. Anyway, before we get started though, book time. And of course, thanks to everyone once again for subscribing. We are up to about 430, just a little bit around there from the time of this recording. Getting so close to 500. Thank you all so very much. And as usual, if you don't see your name in there, make sure you leave me a comment that you subscribed, and I'll get your name in there for next time. Okay, everybody, let's get started. I had so many excellent questions, so thank you all so much. They made me think a lot, and I have arranged them in order, so the order I'm doing them are all over. Some people asked like 3 or 4 questions, and it made sense to kind of go with some other ones, etc. So let's go. All right, the first round of questions, in no specific order except for the fact these are all Minecraft related, is what games did you play before Minecraft? So I played a lot of console and handheld games growing up. My neighbors growing up and they had an Atari, and I got to play Pitfall. I think that was the first game I ever played. Later they got the Nintendo, and I got to play Super Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong Jr. But then from there, I had played a wee bit of everything in the early Nintendo years once we got our own. Later on, we got all of those other consoles, like mostly Nintendo stuff, but I did get like a Sega Genesis and like a PlayStation later on. So a lot of console games. I got into playing Pokemon pretty heavily on handheld, Kingdom Hearts, a bit of Final Fantasy, some more obscure games like Gungrave and Overdrive, Legend of Zelda, and some other stuff. In between that, I dipped into PC gaming. I wasn't really a huge fan. I played like Wing Commander 3, Xanth, and a few others back in the day. But it wasn't until like Steam came out I started to play a little bit of Portal 2 and some other stuff like that. And then more recently played Valheim and Raft. What's your history with Minecraft? Let's get back to when Minecraft first came out. My husband told me about this weird little indie game he discovered. I remember sitting on my computer next to his computer in our little tiny apartment, and I was busy working through some games on the PS2 or Game Boy Color on console and really hadn't touched PC games. And this block game thing he was playing was super clunky and silly looking, but he was pretty proud of his dirt hut and the fact that he had this huge underground mine and mine carts he built to make a roller coaster thing. I sat down a little bit, but got killed by zombies pretty quickly. I think at that time there wasn't a bed, but I thought like there was nothing there for me. That was my first whatever. It was not nearly as good as the console games, but skip forward to 2020, we're all trapped at home. My friends I played with D&D with and just other stuff with, we weren't really sure we could do things in person. So since some of them were still working in public, a few of them got started up playing Minecraft using Discord for our voices chat. And it took me a few weeks. They had gotten into it. They had all built bases and, storage rooms and everything. I played the demo of Minecraft and I got killed like over and over and over, and I got really frustrated, but they finally convinced me to get into their multiplayer game because it was on peaceful, which I didn't know existed, and it was a pretty different experience. We spent quite a bit of time on peaceful until we finally moved into easy mode. And then I started looking into YouTube for tutorials and later got into like a lot of modded Minecraft and hardcore. What is your favorite Minecraft flower? It's got to be a toss-up between lilacs and now the new torch flower. I love the new torch flower, so pretty. Why did you decide to start making videos? So I've always been a huge fan of making home videos. Every time my dad brought out a VHS camcorder, I wanted to be behind the camera instead of in front of it. I used to attempt to do little skits with my friends, just them dancing to music or something, but they didn't really want to do anything choreographed or anything. So skip forward to some of my first videos out there on YouTube are just silly tours of my house in real life, decorated for Halloween. And then later in 2019, I attempted to make some tutorial videos for real life things. They are still out there, like painting, sewing socks, folding shirts, just anything to get practice recording and editing. And then once I started watching X Life and Waddles and OMG Chat on YouTube, I said like, hey, I can do that. So I started my first couple of single player world tours, followed by a short stint doing some Twitch streams in 2021 or so. I started up a new modded game just to do YouTube once I kind of gave up on streaming because all of my mods for Twitch, they kind of became too busy with real life stuff. So it was just too hard to mod the people saying nasty things. So I just started posting on YouTube. And then once 1.18 came out, I started my vanilla series, and I've been pretty much posting a video every week since. What video or videos are you most proud of? Any of the videos where I'm talking to myself. It sounds cringy and silly, but it takes a lot of work to produce one of those. So especially the one where I met myself. I had to do both parts in Bedrock because I only have a Bedrock and a Java account that had Bedrock. And then I had two computers. I had a laptop and my PC going to be able to do it. And then I had to do voiceovers and attempt a different accent, which is super cringy. But I'm pretty proud of those, actually. Not only that, but those more recent phone call episodes. There's a ton of work to do too, but it was really fun to learn how to edit the audio to make it sound like I was on the phone with myself. How did you get to know the friends you play with on the Craftwork server? So, strangely enough, I didn't know a single one of my Craftwork friends a year ago, like less than a year ago. I didn't even know most of their channels. I don't even know if I'd like seen them on YouTube or not. I was basically playing in a single player bubble, posting my videos. After my original friends, I played Minecraft with for the first time, moved on to Valheim. And even though I played with them on Valheim, I still prefer Minecraft, like hands down. But one day in the summer of 2023, like last year, less than a year ago, MC Oda bought me a question in one of my videos, and I replied, and we kind of chitty-chat a little bit, and then he got my Twitter and told me about the SMP. He and a few people were starting, and at that time, I think it was called Dreamforge or something. Lots of incarnations of those names before we landed on Craftworks. My first real play experience with any of them was on a practice server that they spun up just so we could like practice with voice chat and make sure our mods work together. And we just would bop on in the evening and build things and kind of just chat with one another. And I had never met like any of these people until then. And then some of the crafters I didn't even meet until the first day we were on the actual server. So I think we all felt just like we all had this like friendship because of this one game and the fact we all do YouTubes, and it kind of brought us together, being able to share our wins and losses together. And it's kind of like we've known each other forever, just because of that, and being able to share videos and share experiences that way. What's been your favorite build or area you're most proud of in any world? I gotta break up this question because I have so many. My favorite organic build has got to be my giant iron farm mushroom this season, but I love my SpongeBob pineapple. starter base that I built once. My favorite rustic build would have to probably be my Big Red Lighthouse this season, because it's like the most texturing I've done. But a smaller one I did was a little antique store, and I had a basement, and it was a wonky looking build, but I really liked it a lot. My favorite, most modern builds are some of the hotels I've built, and then some fast food restaurants I've had. If you go onto my multiverse hopping video, I think they're all in there. I absolutely like doing the modern builds, but I have to do it later in a series once you get the concretes and the terracottas. All right, so the next set are more thought-provoking questions. So if I could pick any song to be the theme song of my life, what would it be? Getting Started by Jason Mraz. If you haven't heard it before, you need to take a listen. Every time I think about wanting to do something new, or getting down about something I've been doing for a while, or thinking like maybe I got started too late, Jason Mraz like hits it on the nail. Like, don't feel bad about getting started. No matter where it was, it's amazing to just start. And maybe you're not going to be great at it. Maybe you're not going to like immediately hit it out of the park, but just get started and learn from that start and grow from that start. And that song is just really amazing. And it's been a real comfort when I feel down about where I'm at for my channel. I know I'm not like at 1,000 subscribers. I'm not at 100,000 subscribers. I'm very small, but I'm just getting started. And there's a lot more to me that is going to come in the upcoming weeks and months and years, hopefully. So, that's why I like that song a lot. Do you have any big or small goals you're aiming for but haven't reached yet, either on YouTube, in-game, or IRL? So most recently, IRL, I completed a goal, and that was to remodel my office. This is where I sit every day for, working, and gaming, working, and editing. And it was just an atrocious yellow and brown, ugly, packed full of junk. And I finally got it cleaned up. Got my walls painted purple, got like new flooring in, and I am so thrilled that that's a goal I've been wanting to aim for years, and I just completed. But on YouTube, I'd like to say I would like to get a community started. And I mean, we have gotten a community started here. Like, thank you guys for subscribing. But I would like to get to the point where we could monetize this thing and maybe make some more stuff, maybe actually have more of a community. Now, I don't personally need the extra income, so even if I get there, I probably won't subject you guys to even more commercials than you already get. But I would love the option to be there in case I ever did want to flip that switch. If I wanted to sell things, or I wanted to, make merch or something, I would love to be able to do that on YouTube. What would you consider your biggest role model in life and not just Minecraft? So this might be weird, but I have what I consider reverse role models. Instead of people I wanted to pattern my life after, I have people I purposely refused to be like. So what I mean is, like, I've worked under some terrible managers, and I've had some pretty rotten friends who used to treat me like garbage, but I've learned from them what not to do. And then I've moved on, and that's been an absolute fabulous thing to be able to see how not to treat people, and how I want to really be treated. So when it comes to like real role models, like some of my current friends in IRL and on Craftworks have been some of those role models. Like, these are people, like, I've surrounded myself in recent years, just the last 10 years. Like, I did not know earlier in life, how to find people like this. But I have found the most caring, loving, and amazing folks. These are people who have learned from being outcast, feeling alone, feeling different, but because they looked at the world differently, or they're talented in a way other people weren't talented. These people don't judge you for what you can't do, but love you for what you can do. And they're so talented. like Minecraft people here, there's music, I have artists, I have painters, I know sewers, I know knitters, I know people who play a mean game of Dungeons and Dragons and can, write novels, like, or they can just cook up like a ton of food and everything's delicious. Like all of these people, like I really look up to them a whole lot. If money was no object, what would you choose for your profession? So I thought about this one a lot. Like I always wanted to be a writer, but I've realized from like knowing authors in my, like, it's a lot of work. It's so much work. And you're often like, in this dead space where you don't know what people are saying. But what's really cool is when you're telling stories in a place like Minecraft, like on YouTube, or in the world of D&D, like being a game master or dungeon master. Like if I could play, I know some people do like dungeon masters for a job. I would probably consider doing that if money wasn't an object and like insurance wasn't an object. There's something to say about that interaction with other people I absolutely adore. Like, I think that's one reason I like doing lore in Minecraft, because I can not only build what I see in my head, I can interact with it, and I can have other people interact with it and create an experience. And I do that with D&D too. Like, we play on a tabletop with terrain, with figures, and we can have this story that plays out with one another. And that kind of lends into this other question: what is your writing process and how do you get your lore to be interesting? So lore is only as interesting as the people who are reading and interacting with it. Like, hands down. The stories I've considered to be my favorites over the years were all shared collaborative stories with others. Like, not a single story I've ever written by myself that didn't have some kind of interaction. Like, it's nowhere near what I've had with my D&D, with my fan fiction, like any of that kind of stuff. And I used to write fan fiction, and then my friends would write their little stories and we'd intermingle them, and it was always so much fun. So something I learned early on about that is how there are no unique ideas. So don't get down if you're stealing ideas. It's just the way of it. Everything is a copy of something else. But it's how you put your ideas together is how it becomes unique. So my multiverse storyline, obviously, it came from dozens of multiverse ideas all across the board. Marvel, that is more recent. A touch of Howl's Moving Castle, like that little dial that I have. Like I start thinking about that. How do I get that to work in a Minecraft setting? What happens if I can control where I go? But it's limited to just 8 places maybe. What 8 places would I put on my dial? Like initially, I was supposed to come through from the single player world to go into Craftworks. Like I had an idea. I was going to build a farmstead. Like when they, Oda reached out to me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to build a farmhouse, a barn. I'll build it all. It's going to look similar. I'm going to have an island, or I'm going to have a little area in a dark oak forest. I made a skin that had overalls, and then I was all ready to go. That was the story I was going to do. And then the first day of Craftworks, I was voted in as the person to do the intro and to be standing there on the crafting table. I'm not my server. I've barely known these people for 3 months, but here I am, the center of attention and the person that's doing this narrative. And I'm like, oh shoot, well, I can't come through the portal now. I'm here already. How do I make that work? So just having those people like, hey, you're the person who's going to say that. So then, my idea, like, well, if I'm not coming to the portal, maybe I was always here. And what if I was always here where maybe I built my house here? Maybe I already existed here long before everybody else. And I do a lot of listening, and I take a lot of inspiration from others. So like when Zink's Pumpkin War started, it was just him putting pumpkins around as a harmless prank. And then it turned out in this fully fleshed out, like huge story with the war and the pig patrol and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't want our fans to be like, we didn't want anybody to be a bad guy. So at that point, we had to come up with a way. So we all like talked it over and multiple things and chatted in Discord. And it's like, what kind of story could we make that made nobody the bad guy? And then that giant, mysterious the Gordian came to be, so that we would have a central bad guy that wasn't actually any one person. And that kind of story building is how you do it. Like, you really just have to play off one another to build your lore, and then use the world around you as you do too, because stories can come, especially in the Minecraft world, a story can come from just looking around at your surroundings. Where did this come from? Why did this why was this ruin here? Where was this ship? You just have to let yourself listen, let yourself look, and let yourself definitely pull ideas from everywhere. So when you depart this world, what would you want to be most remembered for? So I'd like to be remembered for all the stuff I've created in this world, like trees I've planted, paintings I've done, the numerous journals I've written, like any of that kind of stuff, the videos I produced. I would just like to know that I made a difference in someone's life. Like, if even one thing that remains of me after I'm gone touches someone or inspires someone to say, hey, I wish that person still existed, then I think my job's done. Last two sections here. Favorites. What is your favorite go-to outfit? T-shirt and jeans, hands down. Or if it's too hot, shorts. And then if it's too cold, like a flannel shirt and a cardigan over it. I mean, I am a very simple woman. And I wear overalls too. I have a few pairs of overalls, just like my Minecraft character. And I've cosplayed Millie Thompson from Trigun. Look it up if you haven't. That's the character design I have for my Adventure Guild skin, which will be changing probably soon. But all of those kinds of things are like me. IRL is me in game. What is your favorite smell? Lilacs. Although I like irises, I like pansies, and I like some like roses and stuff. I love spring flowers, but coffee. Outside of Minecraft, what are my hobbies? How much time do you have? We have to keep this short, but I worked in retail in a craft store for 17-ish years and 2 or 3 years in a framing art store before that. So like anything you can think of, I have tried at some point, whether it's, scrapbooking or card crafting or stamping or sewing or whatever. I've tried everything, but currently I'm gardening, and I paint miniatures for D&D. I make terrain. I like to watch anime. We spend most of our evenings watching anime. I do a lot of manga reading. I read light novels, which are also Japanese translations usually, and other fantasy, sci-fi, horror fiction kinds of genres. I do a little bit of like nonfiction, but I always prefer fiction and nonfiction, honestly, and the very, very creative. I like fantasy-driven stuff. I've also painted regular paintings. I frame pictures, card making, photography. I love photography. I do that a lot. Plasterwork, cooking, interior design. Yes, I did make the interior design store for a reason. I like doing interior design in real life too. What are some of your favorite shows or movies to watch? So I'm huge on anime and cartoons. So if it's animated, I've probably given it a watch or know about it. My all-time favorite movies are Super Mario Brothers and Jurassic Park. Like, I know Super Mario Brothers is super cringe, and like The Mask with Jim Carrey is also super cringe, but I was in that time frame. I was in that age when those movies came out that just like those were my movies kind of thing. I also love The Last Unicorn, Legend, The Dark Crystal Labyrinth. Those are all awesome fantasy movies that I could watch over and over. Serendipity is one of my favorite romance movies of all times, just because it was different. And more recently, like all the Marvel stuff, like I watch anything. Like Loki is my absolute favorite TV series on Disney Plus right now, and then Doctor Strange and anything else in the Marvel universe. So anything magic related, superhero-y, I really love. Now, funny questions. I have to answer these, even though, I'm sure you guys asked me these without thinking I would actually answer them. If you had a pet snail, what would its superpower be? I think I would like it to be able to understand and speak human speech so I could talk with it, because I would love to know what it would be like to, you know, be a snail, or like being able to talk to a snail. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Anywhere she wants to be. That woman is amazing. If I even had half of her abilities, it would be amazing. I am not that awesome as Carmen Sandiego, even though she is a master thief. I think she's awesome anyway. Where's Waldo? So if you look really close, he's in the bottom left-hand corner. You don't see him? Well, I guess he's on the next page. Do you believe in aliens, ghosts, robots? Yes, yes, and yes. And then I had one that's, do you have any questions you would have liked asked, and what would it have been? A few of those, actually. So what would I like to be when I grow up? The answer for that is always me. I always want to be myself. What's my favorite foods? Anything baked or pasta. Like, I love Italian or pizza. I love donuts and baked pastries, and my waistline definitely shows it. All right, that does it for all of the questions. Thank you so much for asking all of that. I hope it was inspirational, or at least gave you something to sleep by if it was a little too boring. Now, as you can see from the last couple of videos, I did do some decorating. So I got my living room in, sort of. There's kind of a space constraint here. Got the fireplace in, did a little decorating there. Still working on the kitchen a little bit more, got the dining table in, and some of the cabinets I still need to do a little bit more there. After the video, I did put in a floor into the garage. So there's the back. Obviously the inside doesn't look nearly as pretty as the outside does. And let me close that up. I actually need to sleep, so we're gonna head upstairs real quick. And if we come up here, this is a bathroom. I need to go get some more supplies. And this is a spare room. This is actually our, like, the actual spare room in our house, where my husband has his office. So we have that room. This is my computer room that I recently remodeled. I wish I had creeper colors for a chair, but that will have to do, and all the bookshelves. And my bedroom, the master bedroom, with the different closets and cabinets, and it has kind of like a cathedral ceiling. I have plushies up there, so I need to get like heads or something and kind of put those up there. This is a big closet. This is actually another little closet, so just a little wee closet, and then our bathroom. And I have to do more with that space as well. But I think that's it for upstairs. And then there's a little coat closet that is here, and another bathroom, so I'll have to get that decked out too later. And then the last couple, like the last room which you saw on the time lapse, was the basement. And I have a lot more I have to do down here too. This is actually pretty close to what it looks like in real life. Lots of shelving on that side, and actually I have a sub pump and some other stuff we need to do in there as well. I did a little bit of landscaping. I have kind of like a little wispy kind of maple tree out front. The black top for the pavement, and I think I'm gonna like extend this road somehow to connect this maybe at some point. Little flower gardens. I really have peony bushes and a lilac over there, so that's kind of cool. Also have another big lilac bush here, but it's like really huge. And then I have another littler flower here, and then I have some like pine tree type things in the front. And then yes, I have lots of pine trees out front. And over here I have a little spigot for our hose. And then you can kind of see into the basement from here. And then, yeah, like a big blank wall. It was built very strangely. And then back here we have the porch. And I might have to move out more of this area if I want to do more of a backyard. There's another hose hookup. But the back of the house is like super plain and ugly looking too. But I do have flower trees back here, so I might have to put something like that in. I've been wanting to build a house in my house in real life, and it's kind of weird actually. I have done it before, but it's kind of cool to do it with vanilla blocks. I did it with like modded blocks, and it's so much easier to do it with modded. Like being able to do stuff with modded is amazing. But yeah, so that is going to be it for today. Thank you once again. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you're interested in more question and answer sessions, let me know. Post questions. I like them and I'll answer them in the chat. But otherwise, you all have a fantastic... Oh, I forgot something. I totally forgot. So the reason I've left this mostly empty is because I owe you some interiors. Like, I owe you interior builds, and I thought, what better way to we could do more interiors of this house and then little houses too. So more realistic kinds of interiors where you don't really, or you're not doing it for Minecraft necessarily, and then the actual like Minecraft interiors for the houses over there. So that is going to be next time. So everybody have a great day, and I will see you next time. Everybody have a great one. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a hug from me. Love you so much. Bye. Bye-bye. Oh, let's take a look at shaders before you go. There she is with shaders. I like it. It's really cute. Very calm. Ah, I need lights. I need lanterns on either side over there. There's, oh gosh, there's a lot more I need to do to finish up this house. So we'll come back to it next time. Bye.